Well, when I was at high school, I was always interested in some subjects, but some other subjects I really hated. And some of the subjects that I really liked was history. I always loved history. For example, the old Egyptians were quite cool. I always liked the Romans. But what I found most interesting were the people in the Middle Ages. I always imagined to be a king as well, and this is how I imagined it to look like. But that did not exactly work out, since I'm studying business now. Although I'm studying business, I still kept my interest in history, and I've looked through some history books. And one thing I always came across was the hierarchy system within the Middle Ages. It's called the Feudal system and looks something like this. You have the king on the top, who's ruling the country. He gave some parts of the country to nobles who were ruling instead of him. He had his knights to protect him, and of course the peasants who were working and generating taxes for him. I found this quite interesting, and since I'm studying business, I compared it to company models nowadays. And this is how a standard company is organized today. You have the managing director, you have the directors of each department, and of course their workers. So I've compared these, and I thought they actually look quite familiar. So the managing director could be something like the king in the Middle Ages, whereas the directors of each department are something like the nobles. The people doing the normal work are peasants. I simplified it even more, and I came across this. Quite simple: the boss, the managers, and the workers. So I asked myself, if the model of the Middle Ages and the model of today's society are quite similar, why do we work in the same kind of system since over 1,000 years? We did not change. And then I remembered something that I learned at class, and humans are always resistant to change in the beginning. We don't like change. We only like change if it gradually comes. So I looked into different companies to see how they introduced their change. I came across Google. Google is, one of the most popular companies nowadays, and they have something that's called the open hierarchy system, meaning they still work under this hierarchy, however, they have an open hierarchy towards communication. Managers, workers, and the CEO are able to actively communicate with each other on a normal and friendly basis. Therefore, they are a lot more creative than other companies are. During my research, I also came across a Swedish company. And the Swedish company actually had the idea to remove hierarchy in total. However, they went bankrupt after 1 year. But I found the idea of removing hierarchy in total quite interesting. So I've looked into a lot of business models and books, and I've developed my own model to be able to remove hierarchy. And this is how it looks like. I've called it the 4+1 model. There are 4 circles and 1 in the middle. Let's imagine we are a business consultancy company. We have in total 100 employees. This 100 employees all come from different sectors. Some are marketing specialists, some have studied strategic, and others finance. Well, now our business consultancy company has a finance problem. So what do? We take 20 of our 100 people and send them to solve the finance problem. Out of the 20 people, 10 are actually finance people. The other 10 come from HRM, strategic, or marketing. This helps us because the people who are from finance are able to teach the people from other departments about finance. And the people who come from other departments are able to teach or get different points of view on the problem for the finance people. Well, this approach is quite familiar nowadays, and it's often called a learning company. So, you might ask yourself now, but how did you remove hierarchy within that system? Well, it's based on 4 principles. The first principle is divided ownership. Each and every one of these 100 people who work within this company owns 1/100th part of the company. It makes the person co-owner of the company. And we all know if you own your own company, you will do your best to work. The second thing that this model is based on is equality. Equality not in that sense that everyone is the same, but also in that sense that everyone gets the same payment. All these 100 people who work in this company get paid the same amount of money for the work they do. Now you might ask yourself, but what if some people work less than other people do? Do they deserve less money? Well, no, because the basic principle behind this is motivation. Research has shown that people work much better if they're motivated to work towards a cause. Money is nowadays not the main motivator anymore, at least not for some people. And the last principle where this is based on is trust. If you work within a group assignment or if you work in a company where 99 other people own the company as well, you need to trust them. If one of them screws up, you might lose your part in the company and the company might go bankrupt. So, having talked about this, you might ask yourself now, so why should we change? I mean, our old model works since over 1,000 years. Well, I've thought about that as well, and the answer is quite simple. It's not a question about if we have to change or not. It's more a question about if we want to change. And I believe that now the time has come to change. We have new developments coming up, such as sustainability, but also intrinsic motivation gets more and more important. And I think now the time has come to change. A few weeks ago, I watched a TED talk by Simon Sinek. He talked about the how, what, and why model within a company and advertising. And his main statement was basically that people who do meaningful work, that they believe is meaningful work, work much better than other people do. And this is what this whole principle is based on. That people who are working towards a good cause have a much better working experience when working in this company. And it is, in my opinion, the first step towards creating, well, a better business life. So, to say, I believe that this is going to work. When Simon Sinek talked about his motivation, he mentioned something about Martin Luther King, which I found quite interesting. He said that when Martin Luther King had his famous I Have a Dream speech, over 250,000 people came to Washington to see it. These 250,000 people did not come because they wanted to see Martin Luther King. They came because they believed in the same cause that he did. I also say that I believe in my business model. And I think, or what Martin Luther King actually also said is, an idea without the action behind it is like an arrow without a bow. And I'm taking my first step towards action by developing this model. I encourage all of you to also take your first step and, well, help in development, and even apply it in your own companies in your later life. Because I think that this model supports personal development, it supports sustainability, and it leads towards developing a better business life for yourself. It is the first step towards creating companies who actually serve the society and not that the society serves the companies. Thank you.